Hey guys, today I'm going to show you a quick way to tie the bowline or the bowline, depending on how you say it. You might have heard of the method, I call it the Boy Scout method, of making the tree and taking the rabbit up the hole, around the tree, and back down the hole. A lot of people get confused with that. I find it's very hard to memorize. So we're going to break down what I call the speed bowline, or some people call it the climbing bowline. And we're going to break that down into a couple steps, and I'll show you how fast it is. Okay, so my first step here, I have my anchor point or whatever I'm going to tie my bowline around. I've wrapped my rope around that point, and I have the end on one side, and I've got my load strand on the other side. So the first step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take on the load strand side, I'm going to make a loop. Right? It doesn't matter which way you make this loop. Okay? You're going to make a loop. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the load side. So the load is if my climber is down that way, is pulling this way, this is the load side. So I'm going to take the load side of the loop and I'm going to pass it through the loop. And you can't do this wrong, because if you pass it through the wrong way, it becomes nothing. Right? So we're going to pass it through the loop. Right? We're going to pull a little bite of rope through that loop. And once we got that in our hand, we're going to take our end right here. We're going to go through the loop this way. Doesn't matter which way you do it. I could do it this way as well. Get my hands out of the way. I can do it that way as well. I'm going to go through here. Right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the working end, you're going to pull it back towards the anchor point. You're going to pull on the load strand, and you notice the knot is going to flip over. Right? So it's going to kind of pop back on itself. Right? Some people call this the snap bowline because of that little feature right there. Right? And that's your bowline. Okay? So I'll do that one more time. So we wrap around our anchor point. We got our working end on one side. In our load line, we make a loop. Again, we're going to grab the load side and we're going to press it through that loop. So we've got a bite of rope sticking through that loop right there. Essentially, this is just a slip knot, right? That's all it is. Now we're going to take the end of the rope, pass it through that bite. Now what we want is that bite, if you watch the bite here, you're going to see the bite go back through the rope. And how I'm doing this is I'm pulling on the load strand, and I'm pulling back away from the load with the working end right here. And you'll notice the knot flips over into a nice bowline. And how I recognize this, when I'm teaching people this knot, I'll say you can look for the little, actually it's better this way, you can look for the little, it's almost like a tongue right here. It's almost like the kiss tongue, you know. So that's how you can recognize this knot. Now, to show you kind of the speed of this, I'm just going to tie it kind of at normal speed, how I would normally tie it. So I wrap my anchor point, make my loop, pass the end through, and pull it back, and that's my bowline right there. Now, of course, this is a climbing application of this bowline, so industry standard, we are going to back this up. We would tie a backup knot around this strand, or if we wanted to, we could pass this end back through the bowline again. I'm not a big fan of doing that, but you can do that if you want. Yeah, so that's it. That's the speed bowline. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you use it.